Welcome, dear friend, to this sanctuary of sound and stillness. Before we embark on our journey tonight, we invite you to connect with this quiet, global community. In the comments below, feel free to share the time and the part of the world from which you are listening. It is a simple, beautiful way to weave our individual threads of peace into a shared tapestry of rest. Tonight, we will explore one of the most profound and liberating secrets of the human heart, the art of letting go. You have been told that to get what you want, you must hold on tighter, try harder, and fight longer. But what if the opposite were true? What if the key to peace, freedom, and everything you truly desire lies not in grasping, but in releasing? The world teaches us to accumulate possessions, achievements, identities, and grievances. We carry these things with us, day after day, until our shoulders ache and our spirits are heavy. We believe this weight is who we are, but it is not. It is merely what we have chosen to carry. Buddhism whispers a different truth. It teaches that our suffering comes not from the events of our lives, but from our attachment to them. We cling to pleasure, and so we fear its passing. We cling to our pain, and so we are defined by it. We cling to who we think we are, and so we are trapped in a cage of our own making. But there is another way, a way of opening the hand, of letting the river of life flow without resistance, of discovering the lightness and the freedom that come when we finally, truly let go. As you listen to these words, you will feel a gentle unwinding within you. The tight knots of worry in your stomach will begin to loosen. The heavy armor around your heart will begin to melt away. You will feel the weight you have been carrying for so long begin to lift, and in its place, a quiet, spacious peace will arise. This is not a lesson to be memorized. It is an experience to be felt. It is an invitation to step out of the prison of the past and the future, and to enter the boundless freedom of the present moment. Are you ready to let go? Let us begin. Imagine you are walking along a path, and with every step, you pick up a small stone. At first, you barely notice the weight. A single stone is nothing, but you keep walking, and you keep collecting. A stone of regret for a past mistake, a stone of anxiety about a future meeting, a stone of resentment for a harsh word spoken, a stone of attachment to a particular outcome. Soon, your pockets are bulging, your hands are full. The weight is no longer trivial, it is a burden. Your shoulders slump, your steps become heavy. The journey, which was once effortless, is now a struggle. This is the nature of attachment. Each individual thing we cling to may seem small, but together they create a crushing weight that drains our energy and robs us of our joy. We are taught to believe that our happiness lies in the things we can gather and hold: a better job, a bigger house, a perfect relationship, a flawless reputation. We chase these things with a desperate energy, believing that once we have them, we will finally be at peace. But this is the great illusion. The more we grasp, the more we have to fear losing. The more we identify with our possessions, the more our sense of self becomes fragile and dependent on external things. The Buddha taught that the root of all suffering is attachment. This is a profound and a simple truth. It is not the things themselves that cause us pain, but our clinging to them. A beautiful vase brings us joy, but it is the fear of it breaking that brings us suffering. A loving relationship brings us comfort, but it is the fear of it ending that brings us anxiety. The problem is not the vase or the relationship. The problem is the fist we have made around them, the desperate clenching of our heart that says, "I cannot be whole without this." Why do we cling so tightly? We cling because we are afraid. We are afraid that without these things, we will be empty, worthless, and alone. We have come to believe that our value is measured by what we have, not by who we are. We have mistaken the contents of our hands for the essence of our being. The ego, that small, frightened part of ourselves, is the master of this illusion. It builds its identity out of external things. It says, I am a successful person because I have this job. I am a loved person because I have this partner. I am a good person because I have these beliefs. And so, any threat to these external things becomes a threat to our very sense of self. We defend them with a fierce and a desperate energy because we believe we are defending our own life. But we are not. We are only defending the cage we have built around ourselves. Letting go is the act of realizing that you are not the cage. You are not the stones you carry. You are the sky, vast and open and free, and the stones are just clouds that are passing through. To let go is to stop identifying with the fleeting things of this world, and to start identifying with the timeless, boundless awareness that is your true nature. It is to understand that your worth is not in what you hold, but in your capacity to love, to be present, and to be free. This is not a passive act. It is an act of profound courage. It takes courage to open the hand that has been clenched for so long. It takes courage to face the fear of emptiness, and to discover that what lies beyond that fear is not a void, but a universe of infinite possibility. There is a famous Zen story about two monks, Tanzan and Ekido, who were traveling together down a muddy road. Heavy rains had made the path almost impassable. As they came around a bend, they saw a beautiful young woman in a silk kimono, unable to cross the muddy torrent. Without a word, the elder monk, Tanzan, picked her up, carried her across the mud, and set her down on the other side. The monks continued their journey in silence. Hours later, as they neared their destination, the younger monk, Ekido, could no longer contain himself. "We monks are not supposed to go near women," he said, "especially young and lovely ones. It is dangerous." "Why did you do that?" Tanzan looked at him and smiled. "I left the girl there," he said. "Are you still carrying her?" This story is a perfect illustration of the weight we carry. Ekido was carrying the woman in his mind for hours, long after the event was over. He was clinging to the rules, to his judgment, to his resentment. Tanzan, on the other hand, acted with simple, compassionate presence, and then he let the moment go completely. He was free. Ekido was in chains. How many times have you been Ekido? How many times have you carried a past event, a grievance, a worry, long after it was over? You replay the argument in your head. You nurse the wound of a perceived slight. You live in the shadow of a past failure. You are carrying a heavy stone, and you may not even realize it. The first step in the art of letting go is to become aware of what you are carrying. Right now, in this moment of quiet, gently scan your inner world. What stones are in your pockets? What burdens are on your shoulders? Do not judge them. Do not try to force them away. Simply notice them. Acknowledge their weight. This simple act of awareness is the beginning of freedom. Let us return to the archer. The art of letting go of the future is not a single action, but a continuous practice of refining one's relationship with intention and outcome. The anxious mind believes that the intensity of its worry is a measure of its care. It thinks, if I worry about this enough, I can prevent a bad outcome. But worry is not a shield. It is a corrosive acid that eats away at our peace and our ability to act effectively in the present. It is like trying to drive a car by staring intently at the rearview mirror. You are so focused on what is behind you, or what might be coming up behind you, that you are blind to the road in front of you. Surrendering the future means learning to trust the road. It means trusting that the present moment, if met with full awareness, contains all the information and all the resources you need to navigate the next step. Life does not happen in the grand, sweeping narrative that our minds create. It happens in a series of small, intimate, and present moments. The practice is to bring your full attention to the moment you are actually in, not the one you fear is coming. When you are eating, just eat. When you are walking, just walk. When you are listening to a friend, just listen. By inhabiting the present moment so completely, you leave no room for the ghosts of the future to take up residence in your mind. You are here. And here, in the simple, unadorned reality of the now, there is no anxiety. Consider a gardener planting a seed. The gardener can choose the best soil, provide the right amount of water, and ensure the seed gets enough sunlight. This is the work of intention. But the gardener cannot force the seed to sprout. The gardener cannot control the weather. The gardener cannot command the mysterious, intelligent life force within the seed to awaken. There is a point where the gardener's work ends and the work of trust begins. The gardener must let go and allow the natural process to unfold. To constantly dig up the seed to see if it is growing is to destroy the very thing you wish to cultivate. Anxiety is the act of mentally digging up the seed. It is a lack of trust in the process of life. Surrendering the future is the act of planting your seeds of intention with care, and then having the wisdom and the patience to let them grow in their own time, in their own way. This trust is not a passive waiting, it is an active and an engaged presence. The gardener does not simply walk away after planting the seed. The gardener continues to tend the garden, to pull the weeds, to water the soil. In the same way, we continue to act in our lives, to take the necessary steps, to meet our responsibilities, but we do so with a different quality of energy. We act not from a place of desperate, anxious striving, but from a place of calm, centered, and a trustful presence. We do our part, and we allow the universe to do its part. This is the dance of co-creation, the beautiful interplay between our effort and life's grace. There is a story of a Zen student who was constantly worried about his progress on the spiritual path. He would go to his master every day and ask, "Master, am I getting closer to enlightenment?" The master would simply smile and say nothing. One day, the student, in a state of great agitation, said, "Master, I have been practicing for years. I meditate, I study, I follow all the rules. Why am I not enlightened yet?" The master picked up a small, unripe persimmon from a bowl on the table. He handed it to the student and said, "Here, eat this." The student looked at the hard, green fruit and said, "But master, it is not ripe. It will be bitter." The master smiled. "You are very wise about persimmons," he said. "Be just as wise about your own heart." The student understood. Enlightenment, like the ripening of a fruit, cannot be forced. It happens in its own time, when the conditions are right. To constantly demand it, to be anxious about its arrival, is to live in a state of bitter immaturity. To let go of the outcome, to trust the process of our own unfolding, is to allow ourselves to ripen naturally into the sweetness of our own true nature. The journey into letting go of the self is like walking into a mist. At first, everything seems to lose its familiar shape. The landmarks of your identity, your roles, your accomplishments, your history begin to fade. There is a sense of disorientation, even fear. The ego, the self that you thought was you, cries out in alarm. I am disappearing. I am being lost. But if you keep walking, if you trust the path, you discover something extraordinary. You are not disappearing. You are expanding. You are not being lost. You are being found. You are letting go of a small, constricted, and an imaginary self, and you are awakening to the vast, boundless, and a real self that has been waiting for you all along. Think of your identity as a house that you have built. You have spent your whole life decorating this house, reinforcing its walls, and defending it from intruders. You have filled it with the furniture of your beliefs, the trophies of your achievements, and the photographs of your memories. You are very proud of this house. You believe it is who you are. But you have been living in only one room of a vast and a magnificent palace. The practice of letting go of the self is the act of unlocking the door of that room and beginning to explore the rest of the palace. At first, the sheer scale of it may be overwhelming. There are endless corridors, soaring halls, and mysterious, unopened doors. But as you explore, you realize that this entire palace is you. The small room of your ego was just a temporary and a self-imposed limitation. Your true home is this boundless and a magnificent space. One of the most powerful practices for seeing through the illusion of the self is to observe the arising and a passing of your own thoughts. Sit in silence for a few moments and simply watch the screen of your mind. A thought about work appears, then a memory from childhood, then a worry about a loved one, then a line from a song. The thoughts come and go like clouds in the sky. They have no substance, no permanence. Now ask yourself, who is the one who is watching these thoughts? Are you the thoughts themselves? No, because you are aware of them. The watcher is separate from what is being watched. This watcher, this silent, impartial awareness, is closer to your true nature than any of the thoughts that it observes. The ego is just one of the clouds, a recurring thought that says I, me, mine, but you are the sky. You are the vast, open, and a silent space in which all thoughts, including the thought of I, arise and pass away. To identify with the sky rather than the clouds is the great liberation. This realization is not just a mental exercise. It has a profound effect on how you experience the world. When you are identified with the ego, with the small, separate self, you are in a constant state of defense. You are easily hurt by criticism because you believe it is an attack on you. You are constantly seeking praise because you believe it validates you. Your emotional life is a roller coaster, rising and falling with the changing fortunes of your ego. But when you disidentify from the ego and you rest in the spaciousness of awareness, you become untouchable. Criticism is just a cloud passing through the sky of your awareness. Praise is just another cloud. You can observe them, you can even appreciate them, but they do not define you. They cannot harm you. You are free. You are the silent, unshakable mountain, and the opinions of others are just the wind blowing past. Letting go of the self also transforms your relationship with others. The ego is a master of creating separation. It is constantly comparing, judging, and competing. It sees other people as either better than, worse than, or a threat to itself. This is the root of all conflict, from small domestic arguments to large-scale wars. When you see through the illusion of the ego, you begin to see through the illusion of separation. You realize that the same consciousness, the same life force that is looking out through your eyes, is also looking out through the eyes of every other being. You see that on a deeper level, you are not separate, you are one. This is the meaning of compassion. Compassion is not a feeling of pity for someone who is separate from you. It is the visceral, experiential recognition of your shared being. It is the feeling of another's suffering as your own, because it is your own. When you let go of the self, love is no longer something you have to try to do. It is what you are. There is a beautiful story about the Bodhisattva of compassion, Avalokiteshvara. It is said that he made a vow to liberate all beings from suffering, and that he would not rest until he had done so. He worked for eons, and he liberated countless beings. But when he looked out at the world, he saw that there were still an infinite number of beings who were suffering. In a moment of despair, his head shattered into 1,000 pieces. But the Buddha of infinite light, Amitabha, came to him and reassembled his head, giving him 1,000 arms and 1,000 eyes, so that he could perceive the suffering of all beings and reach out to help them all at once. This story is a powerful metaphor for the nature of compassion. When we are living from the ego, our capacity to help is limited. We have 2 arms, 2 eyes. But when we let go of the ego and we awaken to our true nature, we become like Avalokiteshvara. We are no longer a separate self. We are an expression of the compassionate energy of the universe itself. Our actions are no longer motivated by personal gain, but by the spontaneous and an unstoppable desire to alleviate the suffering of all beings, because all beings are ourself. Let us now ground these profound ideas in the soil of our daily lives. The art of letting go is not an abstract philosophy. It is a living, breathing practice that can be woven into the fabric of every moment. It is a series of small, conscious choices that, over time, accumulate into a great and a lasting freedom. The breath, as we have seen, is our ever-present anchor and teacher. Let us explore this practice more deeply. Find a comfortable position and allow your eyes to gently close. Bring your awareness to the natural rhythm of your breathing. Do not try to control it. Simply be the witness. Feel the coolness of the air as it enters your nostrils, a gift from the world outside. Follow it as it fills your lungs, bringing life and energy to every cell of your body. Then, feel the gentle release as the air flows back out, warm and soft. This is the rhythm of life, receiving and releasing, gathering and letting go. Now, let us add a layer of intention to this simple practice. As you breathe in, silently say to yourself, "I am breathing in peace." And as you breathe out, say, "I am breathing out tension." Inhale peace, exhale tension. Inhale calm, exhale worry. Inhale acceptance, exhale resistance. With every breath, you are consciously choosing to release the inner static that clouds your mind and to welcome the quiet clarity that is your true nature. You can practice this anywhere, at any time, in a traffic jam, before a difficult conversation, or in the middle of a sleepless night. The breath is always with you, a portable sanctuary, a constant invitation to come home to the present moment and to let go of all that is not serving you. Another powerful practice is what is known as mindful observation. Throughout your day, make it a practice to notice the impermanent nature of your own experience. When a strong emotion arises, such as anger, sadness, or fear, instead of being swept away by it, try to observe it as you would observe a weather pattern. Notice where you feel it in your body. Is it a tightness in your chest, a heat in your face, a knot in your stomach? Notice the thoughts that are associated with it. What stories is your mind telling you? Simply watch it all, without judgment, without needing to fix it or to push it away. See it for what it is, a temporary storm of energy and a thought passing through the vast sky of your awareness. You will be amazed at how quickly the storm passes when you do not feed it with your resistance. By observing your emotions without identifying with them, you reclaim your power. You are no longer the victim of your moods. You are the calm, spacious, and a loving witness of them. This same practice can be applied to physical pain. When you experience pain in your body, the natural tendency is to resist it, to tense up around it, to create a story about how terrible it is. This resistance actually amplifies the pain. The practice of letting go invites you to do the opposite. Turn your attention towards the sensation of pain. Breathe into it. Explore its edges with a gentle curiosity. Is it sharp or dull? Is it throbbing or constant? Let go of the label pain and simply experience it as a pure sensation. You may find that when you stop resisting the sensation, when you allow it to be there without judgment, its intensity diminishes. You are creating space around the pain, and in that space, you find a new level of freedom. You may still feel the sensation, but you are no longer suffering from it. You are no longer a victim of your pain. You are its calm and a compassionate witness. Let us also speak of the practice of letting go in our relationships. Our interactions with others are often a minefield of attachment. We are attached to being right. We are attached to having the last word. We are attached to our image in the other person's eyes. This is the source of endless conflict and a misunderstanding. The practice of letting go in relationship is the practice of listening more than you speak. It is the practice of seeking to understand rather than to be understood. It is the practice of letting go of your need to be right and opening to the possibility that there may be a truth in the other person's perspective that you have not yet seen. It is the courage to be vulnerable, to admit when you are wrong, to apologize without reservation. When you let go of your ego's agenda in a relationship, you create a space for real connection, for authentic communication, for love. There is a Zen story about a master and a student who were walking in the garden. The student asked, "Master, how can I be free from the endless cycle of birth and death?" The master pointed to a large stone and said, "Do you see that stone?" "Yes," replied the student. "Well," said the master, "it must be very heavy for you to carry." The student was confused. "But I am not carrying it," he said. "Ah," said the master, "then it is not heavy at all. Our attachments are the stones that we choose to carry in our minds. The world does not impose them on us. We pick them up ourselves. The practice of letting go is the simple, moment-by-moment choice to put the stones down, to see a beautiful flower and to enjoy its beauty without needing to possess it, to have a pleasant experience and to let it go without clinging to it, to have a painful experience and to let it go without resisting it, to love someone with all your heart and to hold them with an open hand, knowing that they, like everything else, are impermanent. This is the path of freedom. It is the path of living lightly, of dancing with the ever-changing flow of life, rather than being crushed by the weight of our own attachments. It is the joy of discovering that you are not the stones you carry. You are the free and a joyful walker on the path. Let us now enter the quiet, luminous space that opens up when the storm of attachment has passed. What remains when we let go? This is not a question to be answered with a thought, but a reality to be felt, to be inhabited. It is the homecoming. When you let go of the clenched fist of the past, you do not find an empty hand. You find a hand that is open and ready to receive the gifts of the present moment. When you let go of the anxious gaze into the future, you do not find a blank wall. You find your eyes open to the vibrant, teeming, and a miraculous life that is happening right here, right now. And when you let go of the small, fragile house of the ego, you do not find yourself homeless. You find that the entire universe is your home. What remains is the silence that was always there, beneath the noise of your thoughts. It is not an empty silence. It is a silence that is full, pregnant with a quiet and a knowing intelligence. It is the silence of a deep forest, where the rustling of leaves and the song of a distant bird only serve to emphasize the profound stillness that holds them. This silence is your true nature. It is the ground of your being. When you learn to rest in this silence, you are no longer disturbed by the noise of the world, the opinions of others, the dramas of daily life, the anxieties of your own mind. They become like the weather, passing phenomena that cannot touch the deep, quiet earth of your being. You find a stability, a groundedness that is not dependent on external conditions. You are at peace, not because the world has become peaceful, but because you have discovered the peace that is at the core of your own heart. What remains is a love that is not an emotion, but a state of being. The ego loves conditionally. It loves what it can get. It loves what makes it feel good. It loves what confirms its own story. This is a love that is fraught with fear, with jealousy, with the constant threat of loss. But when the ego dissolves, a different kind of love reveals itself. It is a love that flows from the recognition of oneness. It is the love of the sun, which shines on all things without discrimination, without asking for anything in return. It is the love of the ocean, which embraces every shore, every rock, every grain of sand as part of itself. This love is not something you have to do. It is something that you are. It is the natural, spontaneous, and a joyful expression of your interconnected being. When you live from this love, your actions are no longer calculated for personal gain. They are simply the overflow of a heart that is full. You give, not to get, but because giving is your nature. You serve, not out of duty, but out of joy. You love, not because you need to be loved in return, but because you are love itself. What remains is a joy that is not dependent on pleasure. The pursuit of pleasure is a hungry ghost, never satisfied. It is a constant chase after the next good meal, the next exciting experience, the next moment of sensory gratification. But pleasure is fleeting. It comes and it goes. To build your house on the foundation of pleasure is to build it on shifting sand. But when you let go of the attachment to pleasure, you discover a deeper, more enduring quality of well-being. It is a quiet, steady, and a gentle joy that arises from the simple fact of your own existence. It is the joy of being alive, of being present, of being aware. It is the joy of the deep, silent breath. It is the joy of the warm sun on your skin. It is the joy of a genuine connection with another being. This joy is not loud or dramatic. It is a subtle, background hum of contentment that is always there, even in the midst of difficulty. It is the unshakable peace that comes from knowing that you are whole, that you are complete, that you need nothing outside of yourself to be happy. What remains is a freedom that is not the freedom to do whatever you want, but the freedom from wanting. The ego is a slave to its desires. It is constantly wanting, needing, craving. It is trapped in the endless cycle of desire, temporary satisfaction, and renewed desire. This is the opposite of freedom. It is a prison. True freedom is the release from this prison. It is the state of being where you are no longer a slave to your own impulses. You can still enjoy the pleasures of the world, but you are not attached to them. You can still have preferences, but you are not disturbed when they are not met. You are like a great ship that can sail in any direction, not a small raft that is at the mercy of every wind and every current. You are the master of your own inner world. This is the ultimate sovereignty. It is the freedom that the Buddha called nirvana, the extinguishing of the fires of greed, hatred, and delusion. It is the peace that passes all understanding. There is a story of a king who had everything he could possibly desire: wealth, power, and a beautiful palace. But he was not happy. He was constantly worried about losing what he had, and he was always wanting more. He heard of a wise old hermit who lived in a cave in the mountains and who was said to be the happiest man in the world. The king went to visit him. He found the hermit sitting at the mouth of his cave, wearing simple robes, with a look of profound peace on his face. The king asked him, "I have everything, and yet I am miserable. You have nothing, and yet you seem so happy. What is your secret?" The hermit smiled. "Your Majesty," he said, "I do have everything. I have the sun in the morning, the moon at night, the song of the birds, the coolness of the stream, and the peace of my own mind. You think you possess your kingdom, but in reality, your kingdom possesses you. I possess nothing, and so I am free to enjoy everything." This is the great paradox of letting go. When we stop trying to possess life, we discover that we are possessed by a joy and a freedom that is beyond all measure. We discover that what remains when we let go is not emptiness, but everything. Let us return to the weight we carry, for it is often hidden in plain sight, woven so deeply into the fabric of our lives that we mistake it for our own skin. We have spoken of the obvious stones: resentment, regret, the desperate chase for possessions. But what of the more subtle burdens? What of the attachment to our own opinions? We hold our opinions as if they were our children, defending them with a fierce and a primal passion. We argue, we debate, we sever connections, all to protect a fragile mental construct. We believe that to be wrong is to be diminished, that to change our mind is a sign of weakness. But an opinion is not a fact. It is a viewpoint, a temporary lens through which we are looking at the world. To be attached to our opinions is to be trapped in a small room with only one window. Letting go of this attachment is the willingness to walk around the house, to look out of different windows, to see the same landscape from a multitude of perspectives. It is the humility to say, "I might be wrong." It is the wisdom to value connection over correctness. When you can hold your opinions lightly, you are no longer a soldier defending a fortress. You are a curious explorer, open to the vast and a complex territory of truth. Consider the attachment to our roles. We are a parent, a child, a boss, an employee, a teacher, a student. These roles are necessary for the functioning of society, but they are not who we are. They are costumes that we wear. The problem arises when we forget that we are the actor, and we start to believe that we are the costume. We become so identified with our role that we lose touch with the vast and a mysterious being that is playing that role. We feel anxious when our children leave home, because our identity as a parent is threatened. We feel lost when we retire, because our identity as a worker has dissolved. The practice of letting go is the practice of remembering that you are the actor, not the role. You can play your roles with diligence, with care, and with love, but you do not have to be defined by them. You can learn to wear them with a light touch, knowing that they are temporary and that your true identity is something far deeper, something that is not dependent on any external function. It is the silent, aware presence that is the same, whether you are wearing the costume of a king or the costume of a beggar. In our modern world, a new and a particularly insidious attachment has arisen, the attachment to our digital self. We curate a persona online, a carefully edited version of our lives, our thoughts, our experiences. We post our successes, our beautiful moments, our witty insights. We collect likes, followers, and comments, and we mistake this digital applause for genuine connection and a self-worth. We become addicted to the validation of strangers, and we feel a pang of anxiety when our online self is not receiving enough attention. We are carrying the weight of a virtual identity, a ghost that demands to be fed with constant stimulation. Letting go of this attachment is not about abandoning technology, it is about using it consciously, rather than being used by it. It is about remembering that your curated online self is a shadow, and that you are the living, breathing, and a complex being that is casting that shadow. It is the practice of finding your joy, not in the number of likes you receive, but in the quality of your presence in your actual, non-digital life. It is the courage to be messy, to be uncurated, to be real, in a world that is increasingly in love with the artificial. All these attachments, from the gross to the subtle, are rooted in a single, fundamental misunderstanding: the belief that we are incomplete, that we are lacking something, and that we need to add something to ourselves from the outside in order to be whole. This is the core belief of the ego. It is the engine of all our striving, all our clinging, all our suffering. But it is a lie. The truth, the radical and a liberating truth that is at the heart of the Buddhist teaching, is that you are already whole. You are already complete. You are not a broken thing that needs to be fixed. You are a magnificent and a perfect expression of life itself. You have simply forgotten. The practice of letting go is the process of remembering. It is the process of peeling away the layers of false identity, of attachment, of conditioning, until you arrive at the luminous and an untouched core of your own being. It is not a process of adding anything to yourself. It is a process of subtracting, of letting go of all that is not you, so that you can finally rest in the peace and the wholeness of what you are. Let us return to the river, the great, silent teacher of flow. The wisdom of the river is not just in its movement, but in its acceptance. The river does not judge the landscape through which it flows. It does not prefer the wide, sunny meadow to the dark, narrow gorge. It does not complain about the rocks that lie in its path. It simply embraces them all, incorporating them into its journey. The rocks are not obstacles to the river. They are the very things that create its song, its white water, its beauty. In the same way, the difficulties in our own lives are not obstacles to our path. They are the path. To wish for a life without difficulties is to wish for a river without rocks, a journey without a landscape. It is to wish for a life that is flat, monotonous, and without character. The practice of letting go is the practice of learning to see the rocks in our own lives, not as enemies, but as teachers. They are the opportunities for us to grow stronger, to become more resilient, to learn the art of skillful navigation. When you meet a challenge in your life, do not resist it, do not curse it. Bow to it, as you would to a Zen master. Say, "Thank you for this teaching. What can I learn from you?" Consider the seasons. Nature does not cling to summer. It does not mourn the passing of the long, warm days. It gracefully, and without resistance, lets go, allowing the crisp air of autumn to arrive, with its brilliant colors and its message of harvest and release. It then surrenders to the deep stillness of winter, the time of rest, of gestation, of gathering energy in the hidden darkness of the roots. It trusts that this period of seeming death is a necessary prelude to the vibrant rebirth of spring. We, too, have our inner seasons. There are times of outward growth and activity, and there are times of inward turning and rest. Our culture glorifies the summer of our lives, the time of youth, of productivity, of endless doing. We have come to fear the autumn and the winter. We resist the natural cycles of aging, of slowing down, of letting go. We fill our lives with endless distractions, trying to maintain a perpetual summer. But this is a recipe for exhaustion. To be always on, always producing, always striving, is to violate the fundamental rhythm of life. The art of letting go is the art of honoring your own seasons. It is the courage to embrace the autumn of your life, to release what is no longer serving you, to harvest the wisdom of your experiences. It is the wisdom to welcome the winter, to rest in the fertile darkness of not knowing, to trust that in this fallow period, something new is being prepared. And it is the faith to know that spring will always come again, in its own time, bringing with it new life, new energy, and new possibilities. There is a Zen story about a monk who was being chased by a tiger. He ran as fast as he could until he came to the edge of a cliff. He looked back, and the tiger was almost upon him. He looked down and saw a long, thick vine hanging down the cliff face. He grabbed the vine and began to lower himself down. But as he was climbing down, he saw another tiger at the bottom of the cliff, waiting for him. His situation seemed hopeless. Then he noticed a small, wild strawberry growing from a crevice in the cliff face, just within his reach. He looked up at the tiger above. He looked down at the tiger below. And then he plucked the strawberry and ate it. It was the sweetest strawberry he had ever tasted. This story is a powerful teaching on the art of living in the present moment, even in the face of overwhelming difficulty. The tiger above is the past that is chasing us, our regrets, our failures, our wounds. The tiger below is the future that we fear, our anxieties, our worries, our mortality. We are hanging on a fragile vine, suspended between a past we cannot change and a future we cannot control. But even in this precarious position, there is always a strawberry. There is always the sweetness of the present moment, if we only have the presence of mind to notice it. The taste of our breath, the color of the sky, the feeling of the sun on our skin, the sound of a bird singing. Letting go is the act of releasing our obsessive focus on the tigers and turning our attention to the strawberry. It is the realization that this moment, right here, right now, is the only place where life actually exists. And in this moment, there is always the possibility of finding a small, simple, and a perfect joy. Let us return to the misty, liberating landscape of no self. The ego, this constructed identity, is not a villain to be vanquished. It is a tool that has outlived its primary usefulness. In our childhood, the development of a healthy ego is necessary. It helps us to navigate the world, to learn language, to form relationships, to become a functional human being. But as we mature, we are invited to a deeper journey, a journey beyond the ego. The tool that helped us to build our boat is not meant to be the captain for the entire voyage. To continue to be ruled by the ego in our adult life is like a butterfly trying to crawl back into its chrysalis. It is a refusal of our own magnificent unfolding. Letting go of the self is not an act of violence. It is an act of gentle and a persistent seeing. It is the practice of noticing, again and again, how the ego operates. Notice how it constantly seeks to be special, to be better than, to be separate. Notice how it loves to take things personally, to feel offended, to nurse a grievance. Notice how it is always telling a story in which I am the hero, the victim, or the misunderstood genius. This story is the ego's primary fuel. The practice is to begin to see this story as just that, a story. It is not the truth. It is a piece of fiction that you have been telling yourself for so long that you have come to believe it is real. When you can see the story as a story, you are no longer trapped inside it. You can begin to hold it lightly. You can even begin to find it a little bit amusing. There is a story about a great Zen master who was giving a talk to a large audience. In the middle of his talk, a man in the front row stood up and began to insult him, calling him a fraud and a fool. The master listened patiently, without a word. When the man had finished his tirade and stormed out of the hall, the master turned back to the audience, smiled, and said, "The performance is over. Now, where were we?" For the master, the man's insults were not a personal attack. They were simply a performance, a storm of energy that had arisen and passed away. The master's sense of self was not invested in the audience's opinion of him. He was not attached to the role of the wise master. He was free. He was the calm, spacious awareness that had witnessed the performance without being disturbed by it. This is the freedom that comes from letting go of the self. You are no longer a fragile and a defensive entity that needs to be protected. You are the open and an undefended space in which all of life can happen. This letting go of the self is also the key to unlocking a deeper level of creativity and an intelligence. The ego is a terrible artist. It is too self-conscious, too concerned with being original, too afraid of making a mistake. True creativity flows from a place beyond the ego, a place of no mind, of spontaneous and an unself-conscious play. The great artist, the great musician, the great scientist, they all speak of a state in which they are not the one doing the work. They feel like a channel, a vessel through which something greater is moving. This is the state of no self. It is the state in which the small, controlling I gets out of the way and allows the vast, intelligent, and a creative energy of life to flow through. When you are not trying to be creative, creativity happens. When you are not trying to be brilliant, brilliance shines. When you let go of the self, you become a conduit for the genius of the universe. Is less than Heishon to zero is greater than. This is also the secret of what athletes call the zone. It is a state of peak performance in which the sense of a separate self dissolves. There is no longer a thinker who is telling the body what to do. There is just the doing. The body moves with a perfect and an effortless intelligence. There is a fusion of awareness and action. This is not a state of unconsciousness. It is a state of superconsciousness, a state in which the clumsy and a slow-moving ego has been left behind, and the vast, lightning-fast intelligence of the body-mind is allowed to operate freely. This state is not just for athletes and artists. It is available to all of us, in any activity. It is the state of being fully present, of being so absorbed in the moment that the sense of a separate self simply falls away. It is the joy of washing the dishes, not to get them clean, but for the simple and a miraculous sensation of warm water and a smooth ceramic. It is the joy of walking, not to get somewhere, but for the simple and a profound feeling of your feet on the earth. It is the discovery that every moment, when met with full presence, is a gateway into the timeless and a joyful reality of no self. Let us deepen our understanding of the practice of release, for it is a garden with many paths. We have spoken of the breath, of mindful observation, of letting go in relationships, but there are other, equally potent, ways to cultivate this art. One such practice is the cultivation of gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to the poison of attachment. The attached mind is always focused on what is lacking. It is a mind of poverty, of scarcity. The grateful mind, on the other hand, is focused on what is present. It is a mind of abundance, of richness. To cultivate gratitude is to consciously shift your attention from what you want to what you have. It is to notice the countless and often overlooked gifts that are present in your life right now. The gift of your breath, the gift of your senses, the gift of the sun, the rain, the earth, the gift of a friend's smile, of a stranger's kindness. Make it a practice, every day, to name 3 things for which you are grateful. They do not have to be large or dramatic. In fact, the practice is more powerful when you focus on the small, simple things. I am grateful for the taste of my morning coffee. I am grateful for the warmth of my bed. I am grateful for the sound of the rain on the roof. As you cultivate this habit of noticing the good, you begin to rewire your brain. You are training yourself to see the world not as a place of lack and a threat, but as a place of infinite and an overflowing abundance. The feeling of gratitude is the feeling of being full, and when you are full, the desperate and a hungry ghost of attachment begins to lose its power. You no longer need to grasp for happiness outside of yourself, because you are discovering the wellspring of joy that is already present within you. Another powerful practice is the practice of generosity, or dana in the Buddhist tradition. Generosity is the active and a behavioral expression of letting go. When you give, you are physically and energetically practicing the act of release. You are loosening your grip on your possessions, your time, your energy. You are affirming, through your actions, that you are not a fortress to be defended, but a channel through which the abundance of life can flow. Generosity is not about the size of the gift. It is about the quality of the heart. A small gift, given with a full and an open heart, is more powerful than a large gift, given with a sense of obligation or a desire for recognition. The practice of generosity is the practice of looking for opportunities to give, to serve, to contribute to the well-being of others, without any thought of reward. It is the joy of participating in the great and a beautiful dance of giving and receiving that is the very nature of life itself. When you practice generosity, you are stepping out of the small and a cramped world of the ego, with its constant calculations of profit and loss, and you are entering the vast and an open-hearted world of interconnectedness. You are discovering the profound truth that it is in giving that we receive. Let us also speak of the practice of working with desire itself. The Buddhist path is not about eradicating desire. Desire is a natural and a powerful life energy. The problem is not desire, but our attachment to it, our slavery to it. The practice is to develop a new relationship with desire, a relationship of mindfulness and a wisdom rather than blind compulsion. When a desire arises in your mind, a desire for a particular food, a desire for a new possession, a desire for a certain experience, do not immediately act on it. Do not immediately suppress it, either. Instead, simply observe it. Feel the energy of the desire in your body. Notice the stories your mind is telling you about how happy you will be if you get what you want. Be the calm and a spacious witness of the desire without being its slave. In this pause between the arising of desire and the action, you reclaim your freedom. You may still choose to act on the desire, but you are doing so from a place of conscious choice, not unconscious compulsion. Or you may find that simply by observing the desire, its energy dissipates. You see that it was just a passing cloud, and you are free from its grip. This is the path of mastery over desire, the path of being in the world, but not of the world. It is the freedom to enjoy the feast of life without becoming a glutton, is less than has shown to zero, is greater than. As we near the end of our journey tonight, let us rest in the vast, open field of what remains. After the winds of attachment have died down, after the clouds of the ego have thinned, a deep and a luminous clarity begins to shine. This is the clarity of seeing things as they are, without the distorting filter of our desires and our fears. It is the wisdom that the Buddha called prajna. This is not the wisdom of books or of concepts. It is a direct and an intuitive knowing that arises from a quiet and a settled mind. It is the ability to see the interconnectedness of all things, the impermanent nature of all phenomena, and the compassionate heart of reality itself. With this wisdom, you no longer need to struggle to make the right decisions. You simply see what is true, and you act from that truth with a natural and an effortless grace. Your life becomes less of a problem to be solved, and more of a masterpiece to be revealed. What remains is a profound sense of trust in life. The ego lives in a state of constant paranoia. It believes that the world is a dangerous place, that it must be on guard at all times, that it must control everything in order to be safe. But when the ego is seen through, a different perspective emerges. You begin to see that the universe is not a hostile and a random place. It is an intelligent and a self-organizing and a fundamentally benevolent process. You are not a stranger in a strange land. You are a beloved child of the universe, held and supported at every moment. This does not mean that difficult things will not happen. The river will still have its rocks, but you no longer see these difficulties as a sign that something is wrong. You see them as part of the curriculum, as the necessary and a valuable lessons on your journey of awakening. You learn to trust the process, to trust your own unfolding, to trust that even in the darkest of nights, the dawn is already on its way. This trust is not a blind belief. It is a deep and an embodied knowing that comes from your own direct experience of the loving and an intelligent nature of reality. What remains is a sense of playfulness, of lightness. The ego is a very serious and a self-important entity. It is burdened by its own history, its own ambitions, its own dramas. But when you are no longer identified with the ego, you can begin to see the cosmic humor in it all. You can see the absurdity of your own self-importance. You can learn to laugh at your own mistakes, to not take yourself so seriously. You become like a child again, full of wonder, of curiosity, of the simple joy of being alive. Life is no longer a heavy burden to be carried, but a joyful dance to be danced. You can play your roles in the world, but you do not have to be imprisoned by them. You can engage in the activities of life, but you do so with a light and a playful heart. This is the spirit of the Zen masters, who were known for their mischievous humor, their spontaneity, their ability to shatter the solemnity of the ego with a sudden shout or a playful slap. They had realized that enlightenment is not a serious business. It is the ultimate liberation from seriousness. It is the joy of being a fool for God, a divine madman, a free and a joyful dancer in the great play of life. And so, as you prepare to drift into the deep and a restorative ocean of sleep, let go of all that you have heard tonight. Let go of the concepts, the stories, the practices. Let them all dissolve into the vast and a silent space of your own being. Do not try to hold on to anything. Simply rest. Rest in the knowing that you are already whole. Rest in the peace that is your true nature. Rest in the love that is the very fabric of the universe. You do not need to do anything, to achieve anything, to become anything. You simply need to let go and to be what you already are. Before you surrender completely to the gentle waves of sleep, we invite you one last time to connect with this community of quiet hearts. In the comments, share a single word that captures your intention for the night. Is it release? Is it trust? Is it peace? Your word is a seed planted in the fertile ground of our shared silence. Thank you for walking this path with us tonight. May your sleep be deep and dreamless. May you awaken refreshed, renewed, and a little more free. May you walk through your days with a light heart, an open mind, and a love that knows no bounds. Sleep well, dear friend. Sleep well. Let us linger a while longer on the weight of our attachments, for this is a deep and a tangled root. The attachment to being right is a particularly thorny branch. It grows in the soil of insecurity, and it bears the bitter fruit of conflict. When we are attached to being right, we are not listening to the other person. We are simply waiting for our turn to speak. We are not engaged in a dialogue. We are engaged in a war of words. Our goal is not to understand, but to win. But what is this victory? It is a hollow and a lonely prize. You may win the argument, but you lose the connection. You may prove your point, but you create a chasm of resentment between you and the other person. The practice of letting go is the practice of valuing harmony over victory. It is the wisdom to understand that there are as many truths as there are perspectives. It is the courage to say, "Tell me more. I want to understand how you see it." When you let go of the need to be right, you open the door to a level of communication that is based not on conflict, but on mutual respect and a shared exploration of truth. You discover that the goal of communication is not to win, but to connect. Let us also examine the subtle attachment to our own suffering. This may seem counterintuitive. Who would be attached to their own pain? But the ego is a strange and a cunning creature. It can build an identity out of anything, even suffering. The story of me, the one who has suffered so much, can become a source of identity, of specialness, even of a certain kind of moral superiority. We may hold on to our old wounds not because they have not healed, but because we do not know who we would be without them. We are like a prisoner who has become so accustomed to his chains that he is afraid to leave his cell. Letting go of this attachment is a profound act of courage. It is the willingness to step out of the familiar and a miserable story of your suffering and to enter the vast and an unknown territory of your own wholeness. It is the realization that you are not your wounds. You are the healing power that is capable of transforming them. You are not the scar. You are the resilient and a beautiful skin that has grown over it. Now let us turn our gaze again to the river, the great teacher of flow. The river not only accepts the rocks in its path, it is shaped by them. The most beautiful and dynamic parts of a river are often the rapids, the waterfalls, the places where it is forced to navigate a challenging terrain. The resistance of the rocks is what gives the river its voice, its power, its character. In the same way, the difficulties in our lives are not just obstacles to be overcome. They are the very forces that shape us into who we are meant to be. The heartbreak that cracks our heart open to a deeper level of compassion. The failure that teaches us the invaluable lesson of humility. The illness that forces us to reevaluate our priorities and to cherish the simple gift of life. The practice of letting go is the practice of trusting this process, of shaping. It is the faith that the very things we are resisting are the tools that life is using to sculpt us into a work of art. When you can see your difficulties in this light, you no longer feel like a victim. You feel like a student in a great and a mysterious school, a block of marble being shaped by the hand of a master sculptor. Let us deepen our practice of working with the future. The anxious mind is like a fortune teller who is always predicting disaster. It creates 1,001 catastrophic scenarios, and it lives in the fear of them as if they were real. But how many of these predicted disasters have actually come to pass? And even when difficult things have happened, how often has your anxious rehearsal of them actually helped you to deal with them? More often than not, the anxiety simply drained you of the energy and the presence of mind that you needed to meet the challenge effectively. The practice of surrendering the future is the practice of firing your inner fortune teller. It is the recognition that you are a terrible predictor of the future and that your attempts to control it are both futile and painful. The practice is to bring your attention back, again and again, to the only time you can ever do anything about, the present moment. There is a Zen saying, if you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present. Peace is not a distant goal to be achieved. It is your natural state, and it is available to you at any moment if you are willing to simply come home to the here and now. Let us now venture further into the liberating mystery of no self. The ego is not just a collection of thoughts. It is a deep-seated feeling in the body. It is a subtle and a pervasive sense of contraction, of holding, of being a separate and a vulnerable entity. You can feel it in the tightness of your jaw, the tension in your shoulders, the knot in your stomach. The practice of letting go of the self is, in part, a somatic practice. It is the practice of learning to relax this fundamental contraction. As you sit here now, bring your awareness into your body. Scan your body from head to toe and notice any areas of holding, of tension. Do not try to force them to relax. Simply bring your gentle and a loving awareness to them. Breathe into them. With each exhalation, invite them to soften, to release. Imagine the boundaries of your body becoming soft, permeable. Imagine yourself melting into the space around you. Feel yourself as a field of energy rather than a solid object. This is not just a visualization. It is a way of tuning into a deeper truth. The truth is, you are not separate from the world around you. You are constantly exchanging energy and information with it. You are breathing the air. You are drinking the water. You are eating the food that the earth has provided. Your body is a temporary and a beautiful manifestation of the entire cosmos. To feel this interconnectedness is to feel the dissolution of the ego. It is to feel yourself as a wave in the ocean of being. A note in the symphony of life is less than Heishon to zero is greater than. Nature is the greatest of all Zen masters. It teaches the art of letting go, not with words, but with a silent and a constant demonstration. Look at a tree in autumn. It does not cling to its leaves. It lets them go, freely and without regret, trusting that in the spring, new life will come. It understands that to hold on to what is dying is to prevent what is waiting to be born. The tree knows that its essence is not in its leaves, but in its roots, deep and hidden in the earth. The leaves are a temporary expression, a beautiful, fleeting dance of color, but the life of the tree is in its connection to the ground, in its silent, patient, and enduring presence. We, too, have our seasons. There are times of growth and abundance, and there are times of decay and release. To fight against the autumn of our lives, to cling to the leaves of our past successes, our past identities, our past relationships, is to exhaust ourselves in a futile battle against the natural flow of life. Letting go is aligning ourselves with this flow. It is trusting that the winter of our lives, the times of emptiness and stillness, are not an end, but a necessary preparation for a new spring. Consider the river. It is the perfect embodiment of non-attachment. It flows relentlessly, never holding on to any single part of its journey. It moves around obstacles, not by fighting them, but by yielding to them. It embraces the rocks, the fallen logs, the sharp bends in its path, and it keeps moving. It does not complain that the path is not straight. It does not wish it were in a different valley. It simply flows with what is. The river teaches us that the only way to be free is to be in constant motion, to be in a state of perpetual release. We suffer when we try to build a dam in the river of our lives. We want to hold on to a moment of happiness, to freeze it in time. We want to block out a moment of pain, to pretend it never happened. But the river cannot be stopped. Life cannot be frozen. The more we resist the flow, the more pressure builds up behind the dam, until it eventually breaks, causing a flood of suffering. To let go is to dismantle the dam. It is to allow the river of your life to flow freely, with all its joys and sorrows, its triumphs and its failures. It is to trust that the river knows where it is going, even when you do not. There is a story of a Zen master who was asked, "What is the path to enlightenment?" He replied, "Accept what is." The student, confused, asked, "But what if what is painful? What if it is unjust?" The master replied, "Then accept that it is painful. Accept that it is unjust." This is not a call to passive resignation. It is a call to radical acceptance. It is the understanding that the first step to changing anything is to first accept it as it is. To fight against reality is to waste your energy in a battle you can never win. Reality will always be what it is. When you accept what is, you are no longer fighting. You are grounded in the truth of the present moment. And from that place of groundedness, you can act with clarity, wisdom, and power. You can work to change the injustice, not from a place of angry resistance, but from a place of compassionate understanding. You can move through the pain, not by denying it, but by allowing it to be what it is, a temporary sensation in the vast space of your awareness. Think of the clouds in the sky. They form, they drift, they dissolve. They do not cling to their shape. They do not mourn their own passing. They are a perfect expression of impermanence. Your thoughts, your emotions, your very sense of self are like the clouds. They arise, they stay for a while, and then they pass. But you are not the clouds. You are the sky. The sky is not affected by the weather. It is not scarred by the storm. It is not stained by the darkest cloud. It is the vast, open, and silent space in which all things happen. To let go is to remember that you are the sky, not the clouds. When a painful thought arises, you do not have to become that thought. You can watch it as you would watch a cloud, with a gentle and an impartial curiosity. You can notice its shape, its color, its texture, and you can let it drift by. You do not have to fight it. You do not have to cling to it. You simply have to let it be, and it will pass, just as all things do. This is the great secret of inner freedom. It is not about controlling your thoughts and emotions. It is about realizing that you do not have to be controlled by them. It is about shifting your identity from the content of your mind to the awareness that is watching that content. This shift is the essence of meditation. It is the practice of returning, again and again, to the silent, spacious awareness that is your true home. The more you rest in this awareness, the less you will be tossed about by the winds of your thoughts and emotions. You will become like a great mountain, unshaken by the storms that rage around it. The winds will howl, the rains will fall, but the mountain remains, silent, still, and grounded in its own being. Ajahn Chah, a great Thai forest master, used to teach with a simple metaphor. He would hold up a glass and say, "For me, this glass is already broken. I enjoy it. I drink from it. It holds my water admirably. But when the wind blows and it falls to the ground and shatters, I say, of course, because I know that its nature is to break." This is not a pessimistic view. It is a realistic one. It is the understanding that all things are impermanent. All things are subject to change and decay. To live with this understanding is not to live in a state of constant fear, but to live in a state of profound appreciation. When you know that the glass is already broken, you cherish it more fully in the present moment. You do not take it for granted. You see its beauty, its preciousness, its fleeting and a miraculous existence. And when it does break, you are not shattered by it. You can let it go with a sense of peace, because you have already accepted its true nature. Apply this teaching to your own life, your relationships, your possessions, your achievements, your very body. They are all like the glass. They are precious, they are beautiful, and they are impermanent. To cling to them as if they were permanent is to set yourself up for inevitable suffering. To love them with the wisdom of impermanence is to experience their true beauty, free from the fear of loss. It is to hold them lightly, with an open hand, rather than a clenched fist. It is to say, I love you, I cherish you, and I will let you go when it is your time to go. This is the path of the river, the wisdom of the tree, the teaching of the broken glass. It is the art of letting go, the path to a deep and an unshakable peace. It is the freedom that comes from aligning yourself with the truth of reality, rather than fighting against it. It is the joy of dancing with the impermanent, beautiful, and a sacred flow of life. Let us explore the weight of our knowledge. In a world that values information so highly, we can become attached to what we know, to our expertise. The ego loves to be the expert, the one with the answers. But this attachment to knowing can close us off from the mystery and the wonder of life. It prevents us from learning because we believe we already know. The true master is the one who maintains the beginner's mind, the mind that is always open, always curious, always ready to be surprised. Letting go of our knowledge is not about becoming ignorant. It is about holding our knowledge lightly, recognizing that it is always incomplete, always provisional. It is the humility to listen to those who know less than us, for they may have a wisdom that our expertise has blinded us to. It is the courage to enter a situation without a preconceived map, and to trust our ability to navigate by the stars of our own direct experience. Consider the sky. It is the ultimate teacher of what remains. The weather is constantly changing. There are sunny days and stormy days, calm days and windy days. But the sky itself is not affected by the weather. It is the vast, silent, and an unchanging space in which the weather happens. Your awareness is like the sky. Your thoughts, your emotions, your sensations, they are like the weather. They are constantly changing, constantly in flux. But you are not the weather. You are the sky. To know this is to find an unshakable peace in the midst of the inevitable storms of life. You no longer need the weather to be sunny all the time. You can appreciate the beauty and the power of the storm, knowing that it, too, will pass, and that the vast, clear, and a peaceful sky of your own awareness is always here, untouched and untroubled. We often think of releasing the past as letting go of negative experiences. But what about the positive ones? We can become just as attached to our past glories, our peak moments of happiness, as we are to our past wounds. We compare our present reality to a golden-hued memory, and we find it lacking. We try to recreate a past happiness, only to find that it is impossible. The past, whether good or bad, is a ghost. To cling to it is to be haunted. Letting go of the past is the practice of allowing every moment to be fresh and new. It is the willingness to meet this moment on its own terms, without comparing it to any other. It is the understanding that the joy you are seeking is not in the memory of a past sunrise, but in the direct and an unmediated experience of the sunrise that is happening right now. In our surrender of the future, let us cultivate what the mystics call creative indifference. This is not a state of apathy or a lack of care. It is a state of profound and a trustful engagement with life, combined with a radical non-attachment to the results. You pour your whole heart and soul into your work, your relationships, your creative projects. You do your absolute best, but you are indifferent to the outcome. You are not attached to success or failure, to praise or blame. Your reward is not in the result, but in the act itself. It is the joy of a full and a wholehearted participation in the dance of life. This is a state of incredible freedom. When you are no longer afraid of failure, you are free to take risks, to be bold, to be innovative. When you are no longer chasing success, you are free to be authentic, to follow your own true north, regardless of where it leads. You are playing the game of life with the joyful abandon of a child, not the anxious striving of a gambler. As we let go of the self, we can practice seeing the world through the eyes of others. When you are in a disagreement with someone, pause for a moment and try to genuinely imagine their perspective. What is their history? What are their fears? What are their needs? Try to feel what it is like to be them, looking at the world through their eyes. This is not about agreeing with them. It is about expanding your own capacity for empathy and an understanding. When you do this, the rigid certainty of your own position begins to soften. You see that they are not your enemy. They are another self, another wave in the same ocean, with their own unique and a valid experience of reality. This practice is a powerful solvent for the ego. The ego thrives on us versus them. The practice of seeing through the eyes of others dissolves this boundary, and it opens you to the vast and an interconnected field of our shared humanity. Let us add another simple and a powerful practice to our toolkit of release, a letting go ritual before sleep. Every night, before you go to bed, take a few moments to review your day. Do not judge it or analyze it. Simply watch it as you would watch a movie. Then, make a conscious intention to let it go. You can visualize yourself placing the entire day in a small boat and pushing it out to sea. You can imagine writing it all down on a piece of paper and burning it in a compassionate fire. Or you can simply say to yourself, "The day is over. It is complete. I release it." This practice prevents the residue of the day from contaminating the sacred space of your rest. It allows you to enter sleep with a clean slate, a quiet mind, and an open heart. It is a way of honoring the boundary between the world of doing and the world of being, between the activity of the day and the deep, and a restorative stillness of the night. And what remains in this deep stillness? What emerges from this practice of letting go? What remains is your own innate wisdom, your intuition. The ego mind is loud, and it drowns out the quiet voice of our deeper knowing. It is a voice of calculation, of fear, of past conditioning. But when we learn to quiet the ego mind, we begin to hear a different voice. It is a voice that is soft, and it is clear, and it is unerringly wise. It does not speak in arguments or in logic. It speaks in a simple and a direct knowing, a gut feeling, a sense of rightness. This is your intuition, your inner guru, your connection to the vast intelligence of life itself. The more you practice letting go, the more you learn to trust this voice. It becomes your compass, your guide, your unfailing friend. You no longer need to seek answers from the outside, because you have discovered the source of all wisdom within yourself. Your life becomes a beautiful and an effortless expression of this inner truth. You are no longer trying to live a good life, you are simply living. And in that simple and an unself-conscious living, you discover a goodness and a grace that is beyond all your imagining. As you lie here now, on the threshold of sleep, feel the truth of this in your own being. Feel the heavy stones of your attachments dissolving into dust. Feel the tight grip of your ego loosening its hold. Feel the gentle and a steady current of the river of life carrying you towards the great ocean of peace. There is nothing you need to do. There is nowhere you need to go. You are already here. You are already home. Let go of everything, and rest in the boundless and a luminous and a loving reality of what you are. And now, as our journey together on this path of release comes to its gentle end, let us take one final, collective breath. Breathe in the peace of this present moment, and as you breathe out, release all that is left. Release the words, release the stories, release the very idea of letting go. Simply be the silence, be the peace, be the love that you are. Before you drift away completely, we invite you to plant one final seed in our shared garden of intention. In the comments, share one thing you are grateful for in this very moment. Your gratitude is a ripple of light that touches us all. Thank you for your presence, for your courage, for your willingness to let go. May your sleep be a journey into the heart of peace. May you awaken with the lightness of a bird, the clarity of a mountain stream, and the boundless love of the open sky. Sleep well, dear friend. Sleep well. Let us explore more deeply the silence that remains. It is not a dead or an empty silence. It is a living and a vibrant stillness. It is the silence of the canvas upon which the masterpiece of your life is painted. Without the silent canvas, the colors would have no meaning. In our noisy world, we have come to fear silence. We fill every moment with sound, with distraction, with information. We are afraid of what we might find in the quiet spaces. We are afraid of our own emptiness. But the emptiness that silence reveals is not a void to be feared. It is the sacred space of pure potential. It is the womb of creation. When you can befriend silence, when you can rest in it without needing to fill it, you tap into a source of creativity and an intuition that is far beyond the reach of the chattering mind. You begin to hear the subtle music of the universe, the symphony of the spheres, the silent and a loving whisper of your own soul. Let us speak more of the love that remains. This is not the sentimental and a possessive love of the ego. It is the clear-eyed and a boundless love that the Buddhists call metta, or loving kindness. It is a love that wishes well for all beings, without exception, including yourself. You can practice this love formally. Sit in a quiet place and bring to mind a person who is easy to love, a dear friend, a beloved pet, a respected teacher. Feel the warmth of your affection for them. Then, silently repeat the phrases, "May you be happy," "May you be healthy," "May you be safe," "May you live with ease." Feel these words as a genuine and a heartfelt offering from your heart to theirs. Then, gradually extend this field of love. Offer it to yourself. "May I be happy. May I be healthy." Offer it to a neutral person, someone you see every day but do not have strong feelings for. Offer it to a difficult person, someone with whom you have conflict. This may be challenging, but it is a powerful practice of letting go of grievance and an opening the heart. Finally, extend your love to all beings everywhere, in all directions, without limit. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. When you practice this, you are not creating love. You are simply uncovering the boundless love that is already the nature of your own heart. You are remembering that you are a sun and that your nature is to shine. Let us taste again the joy that remains. This is not the giddy excitement of a temporary pleasure. It is the deep and a quiet joy that the French call joie de vivre, the simple joy of being alive. It is a joy that is not dependent on circumstances. It can coexist with sadness, with difficulty, even with pain. It is the joy of the deep ocean, which remains calm and undisturbed even when the surface is churned by a storm. This joy is not something you have to manufacture. It is your natural state. It is the feeling of your own life energy, unburdened by the weight of the past and the future. You can touch this joy at any moment, simply by bringing your full attention to the miracle of your own existence. Feel the aliveness in your hands, in your feet, in your entire body. Feel the simple and an astonishing fact that you are here, breathing, seeing, hearing, feeling. You are a temporary and a precious manifestation of the mystery of life. To be fully present with this fact is to be filled with a quiet and a profound sense of wonder and a gratitude. This is the joy that remains. It is the simple and an unshakable happiness of being. And finally, let us feel again the freedom that remains. This is the freedom from the prison of our own minds. The mind is a wonderful tool, but a terrible master. It is constantly creating stories, judgments, and fears that keep us trapped in a state of suffering. We believe our thoughts. We identify with them. We think we are them. The practice of letting go is the practice of seeing our thoughts for what they are, just thoughts. They are not facts. They are not you. They are simply mental events, arising and passing away like clouds in the sky. When you can see your thoughts in this way, you are no longer their slave. You can choose which thoughts to believe, which to engage with, and which to simply let go of. You are like a person standing on the bank of a river, watching the leaves float by. You are not the leaves. You are the watcher. This is the great liberation. It is the discovery that you are not the content of your mind. You are the context. You are the silent, spacious, and a free awareness in which the entire drama of your mind unfolds. To know this is to be free, is less than hashon. To zero, is greater than. Let us revisit the garden of our daily practice, for it is here that the seeds of letting go are watered. The practice of mindful speaking is a profound form of release. Our words have power. They can create connection, or they can create conflict. They can heal, or they can harm. The attached mind speaks impulsively, from a place of reaction. It speaks to defend the ego, to prove a point, to fill an uncomfortable silence. The practice of mindful speaking is the practice of pausing before you speak. In that pause, you can ask yourself, is what I am about to say true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? This simple pause is an act of letting go. It is the release of the ego's need to dominate the conversation. It is the release of the habit of unconscious speech. When you speak from a place of mindfulness, your words become a source of peace and a clarity, both for yourself and for others. You discover that silence is often the most eloquent and a compassionate response. Let us also consider the practice of mindful eating. In our fast-paced world, we often eat without awareness, swallowing our food without tasting it. Our minds 1,000 miles away. Eating becomes just another task to be completed. But every meal is an opportunity to practice letting go. It is an opportunity to let go of distraction and to be fully present with the simple act of nourishment. Before you eat, take a moment to look at your food. See the colors, the textures, the shapes. Consider the long journey that this food has taken to reach your plate. The sun, the soil, the rain, the hands of the farmer, the driver, the grocer. As you eat, do so slowly. Chew your food thoroughly. Taste the complex flavors. Feel the texture in your mouth. Let go of the need to rush. Let go of the guilt or the judgment that you may have about food. Simply be present with the sacred and a beautiful act of receiving the gift of the earth into your body. This practice transforms a mundane activity into a profound meditation on interconnectedness and a gratitude. Let us return one last time to the great mystery of no self. The ego creates a world of solid and separate things. This is me, that is you. This is a table, that is a chair. But modern physics has confirmed what the ancient mystics knew all along. This solidity is an illusion. At the subatomic level, everything is a vibrant and an inseparable dance of energy. There are no things, only processes. There are no nouns, only verbs. The universe is not a collection of objects. It is a single and a unified field of dynamic and an interconnected energy. You are not a separate thing in this universe. You are the universe, experiencing itself as a person. To truly grasp this is to let go of the deepest attachment of all, the attachment to our belief in a solid and a separate world. When this attachment dissolves, the fear of death also dissolves. A wave is not afraid of dying when it crashes on the shore, because it knows that it is, and always has been, the ocean. In the same way, when you know that you are not the separate wave of the ego, but the entire ocean of life, you are no longer afraid of the dissolution of your personal form. You know that you are, and always will be, an inseparable part of the timeless and a magnificent dance of existence. This is the ultimate peace, the ultimate freedom. It is the peace that comes from resting in the truth of what you are. It is the freedom that comes from letting go of everything that you are not. It is the end of the long and a weary journey of the separate self, and the joyful beginning of a life that is lived in and as the boundless and a loving heart of the universe itself. As you lie here now, on the edge of sleep, feel this truth resonating in every cell of your being. You are not the body, you are not the mind, you are not your history, you are not your future. You are the silent, spacious, and a loving awareness in which all of these things appear and disappear. You are the dreamer, and the entire world is your dream. Let go of the dream, let go of the dreamer, and rest in the pure and a luminous and a peaceful awareness that is your true and an eternal home. And now, as our final words dissolve into the great silence, let there be only this, the gentle rhythm of your own breath, a soft and a steady wave on the shore of a vast and a peaceful ocean. Each breath, a whisper of, let go. Each breath, a homecoming. There is nothing left to do. There is nothing left to understand. There is only this simple and a sacred and a perfect moment of being. Rest now. Rest in the peace that you are. Rest in the love that you are. Rest in the freedom that you are. Before the final curtain of sleep descends, we offer one last, silent invitation. In your heart, give thanks for this journey, for this breath, for this moment of peace. Your silent gratitude is a light that shines in the darkness, a beacon for all who are seeking the way home. Sleep now, dear friend. Sleep in the boundless and a loving embrace of your own true nature. May your dreams be filled with light, and may you awaken to a world that is fresh and new and a shining with the beauty of your own awakened heart. Sleep well. Let us return to the image of the house of the self. We have explored the main rooms, the familiar furniture of our identity. But what of the basement? What of the dark and a dusty corners where we have stored away the parts of ourselves that we have deemed unacceptable? The fear, the anger, the shame, the vulnerability. We spend so much energy keeping this basement door locked. We are afraid that if we were to open it, the darkness would consume us. But the spiritual journey is not just about ascending to the light. It is also about descending into our own darkness and bringing the light of awareness with us. Letting go is not just about releasing the things we are attached to. It is also about embracing the things we have rejected. It is the practice of radical self-acceptance. When a difficult emotion, a shadow emotion, arises, our habitual reaction is to push it away, to distract ourselves, to numb it. But what we resist persists. The rejected emotion does not go away. It simply goes into the basement, where it gathers strength in the darkness. It becomes a monster that haunts our house, creating a pervasive sense of anxiety, of depression, of being not quite whole. The practice of embracing the shadow is the practice of unlocking the basement door. It is the courage to turn towards the difficult emotion with a gentle and a non-judgmental curiosity. When you feel a surge of anger, instead of acting it out or suppressing it, can you simply feel the raw energy of it in your body? Can you notice the heat, the tension, the vibration, without judgment? Can you see it not as bad, but simply as energy? When you meet your anger with this kind of mindful acceptance, it begins to transform. The destructive fire becomes a source of powerful and a creative energy. The constricted knot of resentment begins to soften and to release. Shame is perhaps the most difficult shadow of all. It is the feeling that there is something fundamentally wrong with us. It is a feeling of worthlessness, of being unlovable. We will do almost anything to avoid feeling shame. We build elaborate defenses. We project our own self-hatred onto others. We wear masks of perfectionism and a competence, but the only way to heal shame is to bring it into the light. It is the practice of sharing your vulnerability with a trusted friend, a therapist, or a compassionate community. It is the discovery that when you speak your shame, it begins to lose its power. You realize that you are not alone, that everyone feels this way at times. You begin to see that your shame is not a sign of your fundamental flaw, but a sign of your shared humanity. You learn to meet your own feeling of worthlessness with the boundless and an unconditional love that is your true nature. You become your own sanctuary, your own safe harbor. This embrace of the shadow is the ultimate act of letting go. It is the letting go of our attachment to being a good or a spiritual person. It is the letting go of the internal war between the parts of ourselves that we like and the parts that we dislike. It is the realization that we are the whole package. We are the light and the dark. We are the saint and the sinner. We are the beautiful flower and the muddy roots from which it grows. True wholeness does not come from eradicating the darkness, but from integrating it. It is the union of heaven and earth within our own being. When you can embrace all of who you are, without exception, you become truly invincible. There is nothing that can be used against you because you have already accepted it yourself. There is no part of you that is left out in the cold. You are finally and completely at home in your own skin. And so, as you lie here, on the very edge of sleep, let us make one final and a gentle invitation. Invite all the parts of yourself to come home. Invite the joyful child and the angry adolescent. Invite the confident adult and the frightened elder. Invite the saint and the sinner, the hero and the coward. See them all gathered in the warm and a loving living room of your heart. There is no judgment here. There is only acceptance. There is only love. You are the spacious and a compassionate host for all the many and a varied guests that make up the rich and a complex tapestry of your being. As you welcome them all, feel a sense of profound and a peaceful integration. Feel the war within you coming to an end. Feel the deep and a quiet joy of being whole. This is the final letting go. It is the letting go of the struggle. It is the surrender into the perfect and a beautiful reality of who you already are. And now, the time for words is over. The time for practice is over. The time for striving is over. There is only the great and a silent peace of the night. Let it enfold you. Let it cradle you. Let it carry you into the deep and a dreamless sleep where all the stories dissolve, where all the selves disappear, and where there is only the one and a boundless and a luminous reality that you are. Rest now. You have done enough. You are enough. Let go and be at peace. Let us return for one last gentle exploration to the nature of awareness itself, this silent, spacious sky of our being. We often think of awareness as something we do, an effort we must make, pay attention, we are told. But true awareness is not a doing, it is a being. It is not a focused and a narrow beam of light, but the diffuse and an all-encompassing light of the sun. It is the natural state of our mind when it is not caught in the storm of thought. The practice of letting go is the practice of allowing this natural awareness to emerge. It is the gentle and a repeated act of releasing our fascination with the clouds and resting in the vast and an open sky that holds them. This awareness has a quality of warmth, of kindness. It is not a cold and a clinical observation. It is a loving presence. It is the gaze of a grandmother watching her beloved grandchild play. She does not judge the child. She does not try to control the child. She simply delights in the child's existence. in all its messy and a vibrant and a beautiful aliveness. When you can learn to turn this same loving gaze upon your own inner world, your relationship with yourself is transformed. You are no longer your own worst critic, but your own most steadfast and a compassionate friend. You learn to hold your own pain with the same tenderness that you would hold a crying child. You learn to celebrate your own joys with a full and an uninhibited heart. This loving awareness is the ultimate alchemy. It is the presence that turns the lead of our suffering into the gold of our wisdom. Consider the way a mirror reflects whatever comes before it. It does not cling to the beautiful face. It does not push away the ugly one. It does not judge. It does not have a preference. It simply reflects perfectly and without bias. Your true nature, this pure awareness, is like a mirror. It is the capacity to experience all of life in all its richness and a diversity without being stained or changed by it. The joy, the sorrow, the beauty, the ugliness, they all pass through the mirror of your awareness, but they do not leave a trace. To know yourself as this mirror is to find an unshakable equanimity. You are no longer tossed about by the changing waves of your experience. You are the calm and a steady presence that is the witness of it all. You are in the world, but you are not of it. You are free. This freedom is not a cold detachment. It is the freedom to love more fully, to engage more deeply. When you are not afraid of being hurt, you can open your heart without reservation. When you are not attached to the outcome, you can act with a bold and a selfless courage. When you are not identified with your own small self, you can feel the joy and the sorrow of all beings as your own. You become a force for good in the world, not out of a sense of duty, but as the natural and a spontaneous expression of your own awakened heart. You are no longer a stagnant pond, hoarding your own small supply of water. You are a flowing river, constantly giving and receiving, and in that flow, you are connected to the entire ocean of life. And so, as these final words fall into the great and a welcoming silence, let there be no effort, let there be no practice, let there be only a complete and a total surrender. Surrender your body to the gentle pull of gravity. Surrender your mind to the soft and a quiet darkness. Surrender your heart to the boundless and a loving peace that is your true and an eternal nature. You are safe. You are held. You are home. There is nothing to fear. There is nothing to do. There is only the gentle and a rhythmic and a silent breath, carrying you away on its soft and a steady tide into the deep and a dreamless and a healing ocean of sleep. Let go. Let go of it all and be at peace. Before the final veil of sleep descends, a silent, final offering. In the quietest corner of your heart, whisper a word of thanks. Thanks for the journey. Thanks for the struggle. Thanks for the release. Thanks for the simple and a miraculous gift of this very moment. This silent gratitude is the final and a most beautiful flower to blossom from the practice of letting go. It is the fragrance of a heart that has come home to itself. Sleep now. Sleep in the peace that you have uncovered. Sleep in the love that you are. May your rest be a profound and a healing balm for your body, your mind, and your soul. And may you awaken to a new day, a new moment, with the eyes of a beginner, the heart of a sage, and the joyful freedom of one who has learned the simple and a sacred art of letting go. Sleep well, dear one. Sleep well. The past is a ghost that haunts the houses of our minds. It whispers old stories in our ears, replays old hurts on the screen of our memory, and keeps us chained to a self that no longer exists. We carry our past with us like a heavy sack of stones, and we wonder why our journey is so difficult. We believe that by holding on to the past, we are honoring it, learning from it, or protecting ourselves from repeating it. But more often than not, we are simply imprisoning ourselves. Letting go of the past is not about forgetting it. It is not about pretending it didn't happen. It is about releasing its emotional grip on you. It is about understanding that the past only has the power you give it in the present moment. One of the heaviest stones we carry from the past is the stone of resentment. Someone hurt you. They betrayed your trust. They spoke unkindly. They acted unfairly. The wound was real, and the pain was deep. It is natural to feel anger, to feel a sense of injustice. But when we hold on to that anger, when we nurse that resentment, who are we really punishing? The other person has likely moved on. They may not even remember what they did, but we are still drinking the poison, hoping they will die. Resentment is a fire that burns within us, consuming our peace and our vitality. It keeps the wound fresh, preventing it from healing. It tethers us to the very person who hurt us, creating a toxic bond that can last a lifetime. Forgiveness is the act of letting go of that resentment. It is not about condoning the other person's behavior. It is not about saying that what they did was okay. It is about choosing to no longer carry the burden of anger. It is an act of self-love, of self-liberation. When you forgive, you are not setting the other person free. You are setting yourself free. You are cutting the cord that binds you to them, and you are reclaiming your own energy, your own peace, your own life. The Buddha taught that holding on to anger is like grasping a hot coal with the intent of throwing it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. Forgiveness is the act of dropping the coal. It is the decision to no longer burn yourself for the sake of someone else's mistake. This can be a difficult practice, especially when the wound is deep. It is not something that can be forced. It is a process, a journey of gentle and a compassionate release. It begins with the intention to forgive, the willingness to let go. It continues with the practice of seeing the other person not as a monster, but as a suffering human being, just like you. They acted out of their own pain, their own ignorance, their own fear. This does not excuse their behavior, but it can help to soften the heart and to create a space for compassion. And finally, it involves the act of consciously releasing the debt. You no longer require them to pay for what they did. You release them from the prison of your judgment, and in doing so, you release yourself. Another stone we carry from the past is the stone of regret. We replay our mistakes over and over in our minds. We torture ourselves with what ifs and if onlys. We are haunted by the ghost of a different past, a past in which we were wiser, stronger, or more courageous. But that past does not exist. It is a fantasy. The only reality is what happened. To cling to regret is to be in a constant state of war with reality. It is to punish yourself endlessly for being human, for being imperfect. Letting go of regret is not about ignoring the lessons of the past. It is about integrating them and then moving on. It is about accepting that you did the best you could with the knowledge and the awareness you had at the time. It is about forgiving yourself. Self-forgiveness is one of the most powerful acts of letting go. It is the recognition that you are not your mistakes. You are a constantly evolving being, and every mistake is an opportunity for growth. There is a difference between memory and rumination. Memory is the faculty of the mind that allows us to learn from the past. Rumination is the obsessive, repetitive, and a toxic cycle of reliving the past. Memory is a tool. Rumination is a prison. When you find yourself caught in the loop of rumination, gently and compassionately bring yourself back to the present moment. Feel the sensation of your breath. Notice the sounds in the room. Feel the ground beneath your feet. The past has no power in the present moment, unless you give it power by feeding it with your attention. By returning to the present, you starve the ghosts of the past, and they slowly lose their grip on you. Perhaps the most subtle and a powerful attachment to the past is our attachment to our own identity. We have a story about who we are, a story that is built from our past experiences, our successes, our failures, our relationships, our beliefs. We cling to this story because it gives us a sense of security, of predictability. But this story is also a cage. It limits us. It prevents us from growing and changing. It keeps us trapped in a version of ourselves that is no longer true. Letting go of the past is, in a deeper sense, letting go of who you thought you were. It is the willingness to be a beginner, to be a mystery to yourself. It is the courage to step into the unknown of the present moment without the baggage of a fixed identity. Shunryu Suzuki, a great Zen master, said, "In the beginner's mind there are many possibilities, but in the expert's there are few." When we are attached to our identity as an expert, as someone who knows, we close ourselves off to new experiences, new learning, new ways of being. When we adopt the beginner's mind, we are open, curious, and receptive. We are willing to see the world and ourselves with fresh eyes. Letting go of your story is not about becoming a blank slate. It is about realizing that your story is just that, a story. It is not the ultimate truth of who you are. You are something much vaster, much more mysterious, much more free. You are the author of the story, and you can choose to write a new one at any moment. You can choose to let go of the old chapters and to begin a new one, right here, right now. So, how do we practice this release of the past? It begins with awareness. Notice when you are carrying the past. Notice the stories you are telling yourself. Notice the resentments you are holding. Notice the regrets you are replaying. Simply notice, without judgment. Then, make a conscious choice to let go. You can use a physical ritual, such as writing down what you want to release and then burning the paper. You can use a visualization, such as imagining the stones of your past dissolving into light. Or you can simply use the power of your intention, saying to yourself, "I choose to let this go. I choose to be free." And then, you turn your attention to the present moment, to your breath, to the sensations in your body, to the world around you. You come home to the only place where life is actually happening, right here, right now. The past is a dream. The future is a fantasy. Only the present moment is real. By letting go of the past, you are not losing anything. You are gaining everything. You are gaining the freedom to live fully, to love deeply, and to be who you truly are, unburdened by the ghosts of yesterday. If the past is a ghost that haunts us, the future is a siren that seduces us. It calls to us with promises of happiness, of security, of fulfillment. It whispers, "If only you can achieve this, then you will be happy. If only you can avoid that, then you will be safe." We spend so much of our lives listening to this siren song, living in a future that does not exist. We plan, we strive, we worry, we fantasize. We are so focused on the destination that we completely miss the journey. This constant projection into the future is the root of one of our most pervasive forms of suffering, anxiety. Anxiety is the experience of being in a state of resistance to a future that has not yet happened. It is the fear of a negative outcome, the desperate grasping for a positive one. It is the tension between where we are and where we think we need to be. When we are anxious, we are not in the present moment. We are in a mental simulation of the future, a future that is almost always more frightening than the reality that eventually unfolds. We are fighting a battle with a phantom enemy. We are suffering not from what is, but from what might be. This is a profound and a tragic waste of our life energy. Letting go of the future is not about abandoning our goals or ceasing to plan. It is not about becoming a passive drifter with no direction. It is about releasing our attachment to the outcome. It is about understanding the difference between intention and control. You can have a clear intention to move in a certain direction, to create something beautiful, to achieve a worthy goal. But you must also recognize that you do not control the outcome. There are 1,001 variables that are beyond your control: the weather, the economy, the actions of other people, the mysterious unfolding of life itself. To be attached to a specific outcome is to set yourself up for constant frustration, disappointment, and anxiety. Imagine you are an archer. You have a target you wish to hit. You can do everything in your power to increase your chances of success. You can practice your technique. You can choose a good bow and arrow. You can steady your breath and your aim. This is the art of planning, of intention. But once you release the arrow, you do not control its flight. A sudden gust of wind may come. The target may move. The arrow may have a hidden flaw. To be attached to the outcome is to suffer from the moment the arrow leaves the bow until it hits or misses the target. To let go of the future is to find your joy and your fulfillment in the act of shooting the arrow itself. You do your best. You act with clarity and with intention, and then you release the outcome. You trust the process. You accept whatever happens with a sense of equanimity and grace. This is the practice of surrendering the future. It is the shift from a mindset of control to a mindset of trust. It is the faith that if you act with presence, with integrity, and with love in the present moment, the future will take care of itself. This is not a blind faith. It is a faith that is born of wisdom, of the understanding that life is an intelligent and a self-organizing process. You do not have to manage every detail. You do not have to force things to happen. Your task is simply to align yourself with the flow of life, to plant the seeds of your intention, and to trust that the harvest will come in its own time and in its own way. When we are caught in the grip of anxiety, we are like a person who is trying to push the river. We are trying to force life to conform to our mental blueprint, but the river has its own course. The more we push, the more exhausted and frustrated we become. To surrender the future is to stop pushing the river. It is to get into a boat, to set your rudder in the direction you wish to go, and then to allow the current to carry you. You still have to navigate. You still have to avoid the rocks and the whirlpools. But you are no longer fighting the fundamental energy of life. You are working with it. You are flowing with it. And in that flow, there is a sense of ease, of grace, and of profound power. The primary tool for letting go of the future is the practice of present moment awareness. The future is a concept, a thought. It has no reality outside of your mind. The only place where you can ever be, the only place where life ever happens, is in the present moment. When you find yourself lost in anxious thoughts about the future, the practice is to gently and without judgment bring your attention back to the here and now. Feel the sensation of your breath moving in and out of your body. Listen to the sounds that are arising and passing away in this moment. Feel the contact of your body with the chair or the bed. See the colors and the shapes that are in front of you. By anchoring your attention in the raw data of your senses, you pull your energy out of the phantom world of the future and you ground it in the living reality of the present. In the present moment, there is no anxiety. There may be challenges, there may be difficulties, but there is no anxiety. Anxiety is always about what might happen, not about what is happening. When you are fully present with what is happening, you have access to all of your resources, all of your creativity, all of your intelligence. You can meet the challenges of the moment with a sense of clarity and a calm focus. It is only when you leave the present moment and you start to worry about the next moment, or the next day, or the next year, that you become overwhelmed and are paralyzed by anxiety. There is a Zen proverb that says, "The obstacle is the path." When anxiety arises, it is not an enemy to be destroyed. It is a teacher. It is a signal that you have become ungrounded, that you have lost your connection to the present moment. It is an invitation to come home. When you feel the familiar knot of anxiety in your stomach, do not fight it. Do not distract yourself from it. Turn towards it with a gentle curiosity. Breathe into it. Feel its texture, its energy. Acknowledge its presence without judgment. Say to it, "I see you. I feel you. You are welcome here." By meeting your anxiety with acceptance rather than resistance, you take the fuel out of its fire. It may not disappear immediately, but its grip on you will loosen. You will begin to see it for what it is, just a pattern of energy, a collection of thoughts and sensations, a cloud passing through the vast sky of your awareness. Letting go of the future is the ultimate act of trust. It is the trust that you are capable of handling whatever life brings you. It is the trust that there is a wisdom in the unfolding of life that is greater than your own limited understanding. It is the trust that you do not have to have it all figured out. You just have to take the next step. You just have to be present with this breath, with this moment. The great Zen master Ryokan lived a simple life in a small hut at the foot of a mountain. One evening, a thief visited his hut, only to find there was nothing to steal. Ryokan returned and found him. "You have come a long way to visit me," he told the thief, "and you should not return empty-handed. Here, please take my clothes as a gift." The thief was bewildered. He took the clothes and slunk away. Ryokan sat naked, watching the moon. "Poor fellow," he mused. "I wish I could have given him this beautiful moon." This story is a beautiful teaching on letting go. Ryokan was not attached to his clothes, to his possessions. He was so free that he could give away the very last things he had. But his real treasure was not something that could be stolen. It was the moon, the present moment, the simple, profound, and an unownable beauty of life itself. When you let go of your attachment to the future, you discover the same treasure. You discover that the real richness of life is not in what you can achieve or acquire. It is in the quality of your presence, your ability to be here, now, with an open heart and a quiet mind. It is the ability to see the beautiful moon, even when the thief has taken everything else. This is the freedom, the peace, and the deep, unshakable joy that comes from surrendering the future and embracing the timeless gift of the present moment. We have talked about letting go of the past and the future, of resentment and regret, of anxiety and control. These are the outer layers of the great onion of attachment. But now, we come to the very core, the final, the most subtle, and the most powerful attachment of all, the attachment to our own self. Who is this I? that carries the stones of the past? Who is this me that worries about the future? Who is this self that we spend our entire lives trying to protect, to promote, and to perfect? From the Buddhist perspective, this separate, solid, and a continuous self that we take for granted is the ultimate illusion. It is the root of all our clinging, the source of all our fear, the fundamental error that gives rise to all our suffering. Letting go of the self is the final frontier of the spiritual journey. It is the most radical, the most frightening, and the most liberating act of all. The self, or the ego, is a construct. It is a story that the mind has created, a story woven from the threads of memory, belief, and social conditioning. It is a collection of labels. I am a man. I am a woman. I am a doctor. I am a failure. I am a spiritual person. We cling to these labels because they give us a sense of identity, of security, but they are not who we are. They are just masks, roles that we are playing. Who we are is the awareness that is behind the masks, the silent, spacious presence that is watching the play. The ego is a phantom, a ghost in the machine of the mind, but it is a very powerful phantom. It has convinced us that it is real, that it is the center of the universe. It whispers in our ear all day long, telling us what we want, what we fear, what we need to do to be happy. It is the voice of separation, the voice that tells us, I am here, and the rest of the world is out there. It is this sense of separation that is the source of all our conflict and all our loneliness. Because we feel separate, we feel vulnerable. We feel we must protect ourselves from the world, that we must compete with others for our share of happiness. We see the world as a collection of objects, to be either desired or feared. We see other people as either allies or rivals. We are constantly judging, comparing, and are striving. This is the world of the ego, a world of constant tension, of constant struggle. It is a world that is fundamentally based on fear. The fear of not being good enough, the fear of not having enough, the fear of being alone, the fear of death. The ego is a fortress that we have built to protect ourselves from these fears. But the fortress has become a prison. We are trapped inside the walls of our own making, cut off from the vast, interconnected, and a loving reality that is our true home. Letting go of the self is the process of dismantling this prison, brick by brick. It is the journey of seeing through the illusion of separation and of awakening to the truth of our interconnectedness. The Buddha taught the doctrine of anatta, or no self. This does not mean that we do not exist. It means that we do not exist as a separate, independent, and a permanent entity. Our existence is relational. We are inextricably woven into the fabric of life. We are like a wave in the ocean. A wave has a distinct form, a distinct identity. It rises, it travels, it crashes on the shore, but it is never separate from the ocean. It is a temporary expression of the ocean. Its very substance is water. In the same way, we are temporary expressions of the vast ocean of consciousness, of life itself. Our true nature is not the small, separate wave of the ego. Our true nature is the entire ocean. This is not just a philosophical concept. It is a truth that can be experienced directly. When you sit in silence and you watch your own mind, you begin to see the insubstantial nature of the self. You see that your thoughts, your emotions, your sensations are constantly arising and passing away. There is no solid, continuous I to be found. There is just a stream of experience, a flow of consciousness. The ego is a pattern in that stream, a recurring thought that says, I am this, I am that. But when you look for the thinker of the thought, you cannot find it. There is just the thinking. There is just the awareness. The great Indian sage, Ramana Maharshi, taught the practice of self-inquiry, of asking the question, who am I? When you ask this question, you are not looking for a verbal answer. You are using the question as a tool to turn your attention inward, to look for the source of the I, thought. And when you look, you find that it has no substance. It is a ghost. It dissolves in the light of your awareness. This can be a frightening experience at first. The ego will resist its own dissolution. It will scream, if I am not this story, then I am nothing. It will throw up all kinds of fears and doubts. This is the threshold of the spiritual journey, the dark night of the soul. It is the moment when you must choose between the familiar prison of the ego and the terrifying freedom of the unknown. But if you have the courage to stay with the process, to keep letting go, you will discover that what lies on the other side of the ego is not nothingness. It is everything. It is the boundless, timeless, and a joyful reality of your true nature. It is the experience of what the Buddhists call sunyata, or emptiness. Emptiness is not a void. It is a fullness, a plenum of infinite potential. It is the emptiness of a cup which allows it to be filled. It is the emptiness of a room which allows it to be lived in. It is the emptiness of the sky which allows the clouds to float by. It is the freedom from the limitations of a fixed identity, the freedom to be anything and everything. When you let go of the self, you do not cease to be a person. You still have a name, a body, a personality, but you are no longer identified with them. You are no longer trapped by them. You wear them lightly, like a loose-fitting garment. You know that they are not who you truly are. Who you truly are is the silent, spacious awareness that is witnessing the whole show. And from this place of awareness, you can act in the world with a new sense of freedom, of joy, and of compassion. When you are no longer obsessed with protecting and promoting your own small self, your heart naturally opens to others. You see that their suffering is your suffering, that their joy is your joy. You see that you are not separate from them. You are connected by 1,000 invisible threads. Compassion is no longer a moral duty. It is the natural and a spontaneous expression of your true nature. It is the recognition of yourself in the other. There is a story about a Zen master who was walking in the mountains with his student. They came across a beautiful, ancient tree. The student, who was very knowledgeable about botany, began to tell the master all about the tree. "This is a ginkgo biloba," he said. "It is a living fossil, one of the oldest species of trees on Earth. It can live for over 1,000 years. The master listened patiently. When the student was finished, he said, "You have told me all about the tree, but you have not seen the tree." The student was confused. "What do you mean?" he asked. "I have been looking at it the whole time," the master replied. "You have been looking at your thoughts about the tree. You have been looking at your labels, your concepts, your knowledge. To see the tree, you must let go of all that. You must see it with the beginner's mind, with the eyes of a child. You must see it as it is, in this moment, without the filter of your mind. This is the difference between knowing and being. The ego knows. It collects information. It analyzes. It categorizes. But it can never truly experience anything. It is always one step removed, trapped in the world of its own concepts. To truly experience life, to truly be free, you must let go of the ego. You must let go of the knower and become the knowing. You must let go of the self and become the being. This is the ultimate letting go. It is the surrender of the small self to the vastness of life. It is the dissolution of the drop into the ocean. It is the realization that you are not a separate fragment, but an integral part of the magnificent, mysterious, and a divine dance of existence. It is the homecoming to the peace, the joy, and the love that has always been your true nature. It is the awakening from the dream of separation into the living reality of oneness. And it is the beginning of a life that is lived not from a place of fear and a lack, but from a place of boundless love and an infinite abundance. This is the freedom that awaits you when you have the courage to let go of the final and the most precious attachment of all, the attachment to yourself. The art of letting go is not just a philosophy to be understood. It is a practice to be lived, a skill to be cultivated in the small, ordinary moments of our daily lives. It is in these moments that we have the opportunity to loosen the grip of attachment and to taste the freedom of release. The breath is our most intimate and a powerful teacher in this practice. Every breath is a lesson in letting go. With every inhalation, we receive the gift of life. With every exhalation, we release what is no longer needed. The breath is a constant reminder of the impermanent, flowing nature of reality. It teaches us that to hold on is to suffocate, to release is to live. Throughout your day, bring your attention to your breath. You do not need to change it or control it. Simply observe it. Feel the sensation of the air entering your nostrils, filling your lungs, and then gently releasing back into the world. With each exhalation, imagine you are letting go of something you are carrying. Let go of the tension in your shoulders. Let go of the worry in your mind. Let go of the tightness in your heart. Let go of the story of who you think you are. Use the rhythm of your breath as a gentle, constant reminder to release, to soften, to open. This is not a practice of striving. It is a practice of surrender. It is the simple and a profound art of getting out of your own way and allowing life to flow through you. Another powerful practice is the meditation on impermanence. Find a quiet place where you can sit for a few minutes without being disturbed. Close your eyes and bring to mind something that you are attached to. It could be a possession, a relationship, a role, an opinion. See it clearly in your mind's eye. Acknowledge its value, its beauty, the joy it brings you. Then, gently and with compassion, remind yourself, this is impermanent. This will change. This will pass. Feel the truth of these words in your body. Notice any resistance, any fear that arises. Breathe into that resistance. Do not fight it. Simply allow it to be there. Then, in your mind's eye, imagine letting it go. Imagine your hand, which was clenched around it, slowly opening. Imagine it floating away, dissolving into space. Feel the sense of lightness, of spaciousness that comes with this release. This is not a practice of morbid negativity. It is a practice of radical honesty. It is the practice of aligning yourself with the truth of how things are. And in that alignment, there is a deep and a surprising peace. Creating space in your physical environment can also be a powerful practice of letting go. Our outer world is often a reflection of our inner world. A cluttered house can be a sign of a cluttered mind. The act of decluttering, of letting go of possessions that no longer serve you, can have a profound effect on your inner state. As you go through your belongings, pick up each object and ask yourself, does this bring me joy? Does this serve a real purpose in my life? Or am I holding on to it out of fear, out of habit, out of a sense of obligation? Be honest with yourself. And if the answer is that you are holding on for the wrong reasons, then let it go. Thank it for its service, and then release it. As you create physical space in your home, you will find that you are also creating mental and an emotional space within yourself. You are making room for new energy, new possibilities, new life. These are just a few of the many practices that can help you to cultivate the art of letting go. The key is to find what resonates with you and to practice it consistently, with patience and with self-compassion. This is not a journey of perfection. There will be times when you cling. There will be times when you fall back into old patterns of attachment. That is okay. That is part of the process. The practice is to simply notice when you are clinging, and then, with as much kindness as you can muster, to gently open the hand again. Every moment is a new opportunity to let go. Every breath is a new beginning. So, what remains when we let go? When we release the past, the future, and even our very sense of self, what is left? It is a question that can only be answered by experience, not by words. But the great sages and the mystics of all traditions have pointed towards it. What remains is what was always there, beneath the surface of our clinging and our striving. What remains is our true nature. It is the vast, silent, and a spacious awareness that is the source and the substance of all things. It is the boundless love that connects us to all of life. It is the unshakable peace that is our birthright. It is the simple, profound, and a mysterious joy of being. When we let go of what we are not, we discover what we are. We discover that we are not the small, separate, and a frightened ego that we thought we were. We are the ocean of life itself, in all its beauty, its power, and its infinite creativity. We discover that freedom is not something to be achieved, but something to be realized. It is the freedom that comes from no longer resisting the flow of life, from no longer clinging to the banks of the river. It is the freedom of the dancer who has become the dance, of the singer who has become the song. It is the freedom of being who you truly are, without apology, without reservation, without fear. This is not an escape from the world. It is a deeper engagement with it. When you are no longer living from a place of fear and a lack, you can engage with the world from a place of love and an abundance. You can act with courage, with clarity, and with compassion. You can create, you can serve, you can love, not because you need something from the world, but because you are overflowing with the richness of your own being. You are no longer a beggar, pleading for scraps of happiness. You are a king, a queen, giving freely from the infinite treasury of your own heart. This is the great promise of the art of letting go. It is the promise of a life that is not a struggle, but a dance. A life that is not a burden, but a gift. A life that is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be lived. It is the promise of coming home to yourself, to the peace and the freedom that has always been and will always be your truest and a most essential nature. And now, as our journey comes to a close, let us rest in this space of release. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe out, let go of any remaining tension in your body, any remaining worry in your mind. Let go of the day that has passed. Let go of the day that is to come. Let go of who you think you are, and simply be. Rest in the silent, spacious awareness that is your true home. Feel the gentle rhythm of your breath, the soft beating of your heart. Know that in this moment, you are whole, you are complete, you are free. Before you drift into the deep and a restorative peace of sleep, we invite you to share your reflections in the comments below. What are you choosing to let go of tonight? Your words are a gift to this community, a reminder that we are all in this journey together. Sleep well, dear friend. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be free from suffering. May you live in ease. And may you awaken to the boundless freedom and the deep, unshakable peace that is your true nature. Amen. Let us return to the image of the stones. The weight we carry is not always as obvious as a burning resentment or a sharp regret. Often, it is far more subtle. We carry the stone of other people's expectations, the heavy weight of trying to be who they want us to be. We carry the stone of our own perfectionism, the relentless and an exhausting effort to be flawless in an imperfect world. We carry the stone of comparison, the constant and a painful habit of measuring our lives against the curated highlight reels of others. Each of these stones, on its own, may seem manageable, but together, they form a mountain of obligation and a self-judgment that buries our authentic self. The attachment to being liked is one of the heaviest stones of all. We contort ourselves into unnatural shapes. We silence our own truth. We betray our own needs, all for the sake of a little approval. We become chameleons, changing our colors to match our surroundings, losing touch with our own true hue. But the approval of others is a fickle and an unreliable source of nourishment. It is like drinking salt water to quench your thirst. The more you drink, the thirstier you become. The more you chase approval, the more you feel the desperate need for it, and the more you fear its withdrawal. Letting go of this attachment is not about becoming a cold and a selfish person who does not care about others. It is about shifting the source of your validation from the outside to the inside. It is about learning to approve of yourself, to be your own best friend, to find your worth in your own being, not in the fleeting opinions of others. When you no longer need everyone to like you, you are free to be authentic. And paradoxically, it is this very authenticity that draws genuine and a meaningful connection to you. Perfectionism is another gilded cage. It masquerades as a noble pursuit of excellence, but at its root, it is a deep-seated fear of judgment. It is the belief that if we can just be perfect, we will be safe from criticism, from failure, from shame. But perfection is an illusion. It does not exist in the human realm. To chase it is to condemn yourself to a life of constant striving and an inevitable disappointment. It is to live in a state of perpetual tension, of never being good enough. Letting go of perfectionism is the practice of embracing your own humanity. It is the courage to be messy, to be vulnerable, to make mistakes. It is the wisdom to see that our flaws and our imperfections are not signs of our inadequacy, but marks of our authenticity. They are the cracks through which the light gets in. When you give yourself permission to be imperfect, you give yourself permission to be alive. You step off the tightrope of impossible standards, and you learn to dance on the solid ground of your own good enoughness. Nature, in its infinite wisdom, never strives for perfection. A tree does not worry if its branches are symmetrical. A flower does not compare itself to the one next to it. The moon does not feel inadequate when it is not full. Each thing in nature is simply itself, in its own unique and an unrepeatable perfection. The crooked branch, the wilting petal, the waning moon, they are all part of the beauty, the wholeness, the truth of life. We are the only creatures on earth who torture ourselves with the idea that we should be something other than what we are. The practice of letting go is the practice of returning to our own nature, of accepting our own unique and an imperfect beauty. It is the relief of finally laying down the heavy burden of trying to be someone you are not, and the joy of discovering the simple, profound, and a perfect piece of being who you are. Think of the way a master potter works with clay. The potter does not force the clay into a shape. The potter listens to the clay, feels its nature, its willingness, its resistance. The potter guides the clay, works with it, but also allows it to have its own voice in the creative process. The final pot is a collaboration between the potter's intention and the clay's nature. This is how we must learn to work with our own lives. We cannot force our life to become something it is not. We must listen to it, feel its natural flow, and guide it with a gentle and a skillful hand. We must let go of our rigid blueprints and our fixed ideas, and we must learn to dance with the living, breathing, and an unpredictable clay of the present moment. This is the path of ease, of grace, of mastery. It is the art of letting go, not as an act of giving up, but as an act of profound and a creative collaboration with life itself. Let us delve deeper into the practice of releasing the past, for it is a garden that has been overgrown with the weeds of misunderstanding. We think that to forgive is a sign of weakness, that it is to let someone get away with what they have done, but this is a profound error. The only person you imprison with your resentment is yourself. Imagine you are in a small boat and you have tied a rope from your boat to a large, jagged rock. The rock is the person or the event that hurt you. By holding onto the rope of resentment, you are not punishing the rock. The rock is indifferent. You are simply ensuring that you can never sail freely. You are anchored to your own pain, unable to move, constantly being pulled back towards the sharp edges of your own wound. Forgiveness is the act of cutting the rope. It is the realization that your freedom is more important than your grievance. It is the choice to sail on, leaving the rock behind you, a distant and a powerless feature on a shoreline you are no longer bound to. Self-forgiveness is often an even more difficult rope to cut. We are our own harshest critics, our own most unforgiving judges. We hold ourselves to impossible standards, and when we inevitably fall short, we sentence ourselves to a lifetime of inner punishment. We wear our past mistakes like a heavy cloak of shame, believing that we do not deserve to be free of them. But who is this judge that condemns you? It is the ego, that phantom self, which thrives on drama and self-importance. The ego loves the story of the terrible mistake. It gives it a sense of identity, a role to play. To forgive yourself is to see through this drama. It is to recognize that the person who made that mistake no longer exists. You have grown, you have learned, you have changed. To continue to punish yourself for the actions of a past self is as logical as scolding a tall oak tree for the time it was a small and a vulnerable sapling. The practice of self-forgiveness is the practice of honoring your own growth. It is the act of treating yourself with the same compassion and understanding that you would offer to a dear friend. It is the gentle and a loving whisper that says, "You did the best you could. It is over. You are free." Consider the process of a snake shedding its skin. The old skin becomes tight, restrictive. It no longer fits the growing snake. In order to continue its life, the snake must let the old skin go. It rubs itself against a rock or a branch, and slowly, painstakingly, it wriggles free, leaving the old, useless skin behind. It does not mourn the loss of its old skin. It does not carry it around as a reminder of its past. It leaves it on the ground and moves on, fresh, renewed, and ready for the next phase of its life. Our past identities, our past mistakes, our past hurts, they are like the old skin of the snake. They served a purpose once, but they no longer fit us. We must have the courage to shed them, to leave them behind so that we can continue to grow. This shedding is not always easy. It can be uncomfortable. It can feel like we are losing a part of ourselves. But what we are losing is only a dead and a restrictive layer. What we are gaining is the freedom to be who we are now. There is a powerful story from the life of the Buddha. After he attained enlightenment, he was sitting in meditation when he was approached by Angulimala, a terrifying murderer who wore a garland of his victim's fingers around his neck. Angulimala, seeing the serene monk, decided to make him his next victim. He drew his sword and ran towards the Buddha, but no matter how fast he ran, he could not catch up. The Buddha was simply walking at a normal pace. Exasperated, Angulimala shouted, "Stop, monk, stop." The Buddha turned and replied with a calm and a steady voice, "I have stopped, Angulimala. It is you who have not stopped." The Buddha had stopped running from his past, from his fears, from himself. He was living in the stillness of the present moment. Angulimala was the one who was still running, driven by his anger, his violence, his past. The Buddha's words struck Angulimala with the force of a thunderbolt. He dropped his sword, fell to his knees, and became the Buddha's disciple. He let go of his past, his identity as a murderer, and he became a gentle and a compassionate monk. This story teaches us that no matter how dark our past, no matter how heavy the stones we carry, it is always possible to stop. It is always possible to let go. It is always possible to begin anew. The power to release the past is not in some distant future. It is here, now, in this very moment. It is the simple and a profound choice to stop running, to turn around, and to meet the present moment with an open heart and a quiet mind.